Okay. Hello once again, guys. Now, let's just get straight into it. Yesterday we talked about mixing a little bit, so in context with that, we'll talk about EQing. So let's take a listen to what I've got here. I've got like a little 8-bar thing I just made quickly, and then I'm going to explain to you how to EQ them all together to make them fit well and to sound nice. So this is what we got. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. First things first, we'll go for our chords because they're like the main groove of what we've got going so far. So I'm only going to show you how to EQ. I'm not going to do any effects or processing, okay? So I'll just be using the Fruity EQ2 because everyone with FL will have that plugin. Another thing I'm going to say is don't do this, please. Don't do that. Like, don't do that on everything. Everyone does it on everything. I don't know why. I don't know who came up with it. Just stop doing it, please. In time you will learn for what things you need to do for example, pianos, where then there's not really a lot of low end in a piano. But sometimes there's some low end frequencies or notes that you do want in a piano, so I know for some reason I feel like someone's come up with the idea that you have to make a sub bass for everything separately. In my last song I had growls that were just like, I just left them like that with no sub bass and it sounded hectic. So just please, because if you do this all the time, this is going to make your mix sound very empty and that the low end is missing, especially if it's being played in like on big speakers. So just be careful with this. Avoid doing this on everything, please. It is a very, very silly thing that someone's drilled into everyone's head. So, yeah. So I'm gonna say that this is the EQ mistake that everyone needs to avoid. Yeah. So I'm gonna put that in the title too. EQ mistake that people need to avoid to do, especially in dubstep. Dubstep, you want the whole frequency spectrum to be nice and full. Doing this to everything makes it sound extremely empty. Even with your sub bass in there layered, like it just sounds too pinchy. Like it's just, yeah. See, I'm EQing with everything in context. It might be a little bit hard, especially if you're new to mixing, to EQing. But I've been doing this for now at least 2 years, so I can sort of understand what I'm trying to do. So let's see this by itself. So you can hear what I'm trying to do there. A lot of high frequencies that I do not want right now. This is my preference. You can leave it like this, but yeah, that sounded fucking cool, but I don't want that, so again, another tip, open up another EQ. Now we're going to look for frequencies that are still in there that we don't want, and we're going to scoop them out. So once again, with your mouse wheel, just scroll over the node. These things are called nodes. So you just scroll it and bring that percent down to 0. Percent down to 0. Go up. And we're just trying to scan for things that sound disgusting, things that you do not want in the sound. And once you hear them, you duck them out. So you don't have to do that with every sound, but sometimes when you're trying to EQ something and it still doesn't sound exactly how you want it, then I'll go for the scoop, the frequency scoops. A lot of the time I'll have my chords like this because I just want them just there, but not to be overpowering things like the lead or the ARP and stuff like that. So the lead is next. Another trick, you get a wave shaper and it works as like a limiter type of thing, so it can't clip, you know what I mean? So it's like a brick limiter kind of thing. Again, back to the first thing I said. Take a look when I play this, right? In this lead, there's nothing here already, so there's no need to do this. There's no need, like, because yeah. Okay. Next we'll go the ARP. And then we'll go to piano. The pianos is an exception. I like to EQ my pianos on their own because pianos are really nice sounding, so you really want to be specific of how you want it to sound on its own first, then play in context that if it does sound a bit off, you have to make the adjustments. So it's piano. Okay, so example, if I'm going to be that guy who's going to do this, okay, listen to it how it is now. And listen to what happens when I take this out, all the bottom end out. Okay, that is a very low rumble, which you don't want, so it's probably then wise to EQ the low end out here. Alright, just take a look at what I'm doing. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a very low ringing, like a ringing sound. It sounds like the piano's resonating after you hit the keys. This is a problem we face with real life recording in school. So pianos are extremely hard to mic up and to use in context with a band. So it's the same thing with this plugin. Like if this is resonating a real piano, then it sounds like the keys are still being held down. I want to get rid of that because it's too. It could make your mix in context with everything sound like too maybe spacey, and if you don't want that, then that's not a good thing. So just listen. I have to add reverb to this because reverb just sounds amazing on pianos. Pianos is the only time I don't use this bus reverb because I want full control of what I want to happen. All together. Can you hear that very high pitched thing? I don't know if it's because it's the wavetable I've chosen to use, or if I could EQ that out, so we'll give it a go. There we go. Another thing to please keep in mind, if there's a problem like that, and you couldn't get rid of it with EQing and stuff, the chances are that the first original sound source, so this serum patch, was shit and needed fixing. And with a simple just turn of the wavetable position, I got rid of that problem. My teacher always says, don't try to polish a shit. Okay, so if you've got a bad kick drum, you do not try to EQ it to make it sound better, because that's not going to happen, and you will look like a fool. So if you've got a shit kick drum, change the kick drum. If you've got a shit snare, change the snare. Don't EQ it to try to fix it. Don't add reverb, it's going to make it worse. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. So one more time, let's try to get this cleaned up. Let's go drum loops. Let's just see how it sounds all together. Drums. So this is just EQing things to make them all fit together. Yeah, like I said, you don't want things to clash, so if I've taken out the high frequencies of the chords, don't take out the high frequencies of everything else, because then there's going to be no high in the mix. So, you know what I mean? It's just about using your ear, just a bit of common sense, really. There you have it, guys. Yeah, please remember the thing I said. Avoid doing this to everything, please. Just, yeah. I did it for a very long time. This is because what everyone on YouTube was saying to do, and what people were saying to do. And the better and better I get at producing, the more I realize that this is very silly. Very, very silly. So, yeah guys, so I hope this helps you just understand the EQing a little bit better for the people who don't really know what's going on. Because I will admit, I produced for a long time, and I was releasing music for a long time without knowing what the fuck EQ actually was. So don't feel embarrassed, but I just hope this video helps you. So yeah, and I'm gonna use this drum loop because this fucking sounds cool. Alright guys, peace out.